during the course of. What are we looking at today? How to solve matching questions. How to solve matching questions. So we have different types of questions in IELTS reading, just to do a kind of revision. Let me start with a kind of revision. We have different types of questions in IELTS reading. We have gap filling questions. We have true, false, not given questions. We have yes, no, not given questions. We have multiple choice questions. And we have matching questions. Now, those matching questions have many variants, about 4 or 5 variants. Okay? We have what you call matching statements. Okay? We have matching statements. We have matching information. We have matching statements, matching information, matching features, matching sentence endings. Okay? Matching sentence endings. And then we have matching headings. Notice those two things are different. Ending different from headings. Okay? So we need to be able to handle all the different types of matching questions like experts. Like experts. Let me put it that way. But before we learn how to handle them, let's even identify them first. How do we identify matching statement questions? First of all, matching statement questions are common in IELTS General. Matching statement questions, they show up in IELTS General. So here we have a sample of IELTS General. So here, look at it. They're going to say which of the following, which paragraph contains the following statement, or which statement is, they're going to see the word statement or something that sounds like a statement. Okay. Let me check my IELTS General collection here. A sample of IELTS General. Okay, I think this should be yeah, this is IELTS General. Yeah. Now look at this one here. Look at the 7 reviews of suitcases on page 16. This is the page 16 here. This is the page 16. Look at the 7 reviews of suitcases on page 16. For which suitcase are the following statements true? Statement. Can you see matching statement? Okay. For which suitcase are the following statements true? So I need to go to the passage and find out, okay, the passage talks about a suitcase called Briggs and Riley Weekender. I will now read the paragraph about Briggs and Riley Weekender. Okay, after reading and I understand what is here, I will now come to this statement and say, okay, is this statement one that connects to Briggs and Riley Weekender? Or is this statement 2? Look at the statement. It says this suitcase is for those who wish to purchase expensive luggage. Is this Briggs and Riley Weekender? Is it for those who want to purchase expensive luggage? If it is, then the answer to number 1 is going to be A. That's what we call matching statement. We are matching these statements to the what? To the appropriate paragraphs in the passage. We call it what? Matching statement questions. Okay, it shows up a lot in IELTS General. It does. You can't see it in IELTS Academic. I don't think I've ever seen it in IELTS Academic. Okay, so IELTS General people, in some cases they will not use the word statement. Look at it in this example here now. They said, look at the 5 online reviews. Can you see that this one is also saying review? The first one that we looked at, they said review also. Review, 7 reviews. You understand? But in this case, they did not use the word statement. Look at the 5 online reviews of Wellington Hotel. Which review mentions the following? It's still matching statement. In other words, which review mentions that you can find the receptionist welcoming? Which review? Look at the review here. Is it review A or review B or review C or review D? You understand? So we call this question type matching statement questions. To me, this is the easiest type of matching questions in IELTS. It is the easiest. It is the easiest. Okay? Now, the second type of matching question that you're going to come across is what we call matching features. Okay? Matching features or matching names. For those kinds of questions, you're going to be matching the names of individuals to certain statements. Okay? You'll be matching the names of what? of individuals to certain statements. Now, this particular question type can show up in IELTS academic and it can show up in IELTS general. So look at this one now. This is IELTS general. Look at this example here. Look at this. Look at the following statements. Question 33 to 36. So these are the statements they are referring to. And the list of researchers, these are the researchers they are referring to. James Wood, Ken Fanning, John Carr, Theresa Manful, Mark Carrington. Okay? Match. Can you see where we got the word matching? Matching. Match each statement with the correct researcher. Okay? And write the correct letter A to E in your answer sheet. Now look at it. A particular crop may make an important contribution to the local economy in one African country. Who is the researcher that gave us this statement? Who is the researcher that came up with this statement? Is it James Wood? Is it Ken Fanning? Is it John Carr? Is it Theresa Manful? Is it Mark Carrington? Who is the researcher that came up with this statement? How do I know the researcher that came up with the statement? I need to go to the passage, this passage here. Research on improving agricultural yields in Africa. I need to come to this passage and check out what's it called? Each of those researchers said. And then I will match them with the word. Match the appropriate researcher to the appropriate statement. That's what we call what? Matching features or matching names. Most times they use the names of people. Or you can use names of countries or names of organizations or names of animals. So some people call it matching names. Okay, that is the second type of word, matching questions. To me, it's the second easiest. Why is it the second easiest? Because it's very easy to locate this keyword, these names of people, especially when they use the names of individuals. It's very easy to scan for the names of those individuals and match them to the appropriate statements. That's why I believe this particular type is easier. Right? Now, the third one is what we call matching information. Matching information. Matching information basically involves matching certain statements to appropriate paragraphs. Let me show you examples of matching information. Matching information is very common in IELTS academic. So look at it. Here we have an example of IELTS academic. This is Cambridge IELTS 15. Matching information will tell you which paragraph contains the following information. I'm trying to look for matching information here. They will say look at it here. Look at this here. Reading passage 2 has 6 paragraphs, A to F. Which paragraph contains the following information? Can you see? A reference to how further disappearance of multiple species could be avoided. So which paragraph gives us a reference to how further disappearance of multiple species could be avoided? Is it paragraph A? Look at paragraph A here. Or is it paragraph B? Or is it paragraph C? Or is it paragraph D? Or is it paragraph E? Which paragraph tells us about what? The fact that further disappearance of multiple species could be avoided. Which paragraph tells us that which paragraph gives us explanation of a way of reproducing an extinct animal using the DNA of only that species? Okay, so this is what we call what? Matching information questions. This one shows up a lot in IELTS academic. Sometimes it shows up in IELTS general. Sometimes, not all the time, not very often, but it can also show up in IELTS general. Matching information questions. Then we have what you call matching sentence endings. Let me show you matching sentence endings. Look at this question here. Question 27 to 31. Complete each sentence with the correct ending. That's what we call matching sentence ending. Okay? So look at number 27, for example, now. In fairy tales, details of the plot may be provided through methods used in biological research. Can you see that? Our job is to look for an option in this box. Which sentence in this box can I add to this first sentence to make it complete? Which sentence in this box can I add to the second sentence to make the second sentence complete? Which sentence in this box can I add to the third sentence to make the third sentence complete? You understand? That's what we are doing with what? Matching sentence endings. We are adding the second part of a sentence to the first part of that sentence so that that sentence can become complete. How do I know what to add? You are going to need to go and check the passage to find out what the passage says. That's how you find out. I mean, that's how you know the right sentence to add. That's how you know the right ending to add. We call it what? Matching sentence ending. This is also common in IELTS academic, but it's not common in IELTS general. I've never seen this particular matching sentence ending in IELTS general. I've never seen it. Okay? Then finally, the chairman of them all is what we call matching heading questions. Look at it here. This is an example of matching heading questions. Reading passage 3 has 8 sections, 8 to which. Choose the correct heading for each section from the list of headings below. Write the correct number I to IX in the boxes on your answer sheet. So these are the headings. Complaints about the impact of a certain approach. Fundamental beliefs that are in fact correct. So headings of different paragraphs. So our job is to read section A of the paragraph. Look at section A here. Look at section A here. Our job is to read section A and look for an appropriate title. How do I know the title to pick? You have to come to this box and come and pick the appropriate title for section A. Okay? Again, you read section B. After reading section B and digesting what is in section B, you come to this paragraph. You come to this box and pick an appropriate title for section B. Okay? Then you read section C. After reading section C, you come to this box and pick an appropriate title for what? For section C. You understand? And you do that until you get to the end of the passage. That's until you read all the sections and give titles to all the sections. We call it what? Matching heading questions. Matching heading questions. So these are the different types of matching questions that we are going to encounter when it comes to what? When it comes to IELTS reading. And you must be well prepared to what? To handle them. Okay? Any of them can come out. Somebody says which one is more common. All of them are common. All of them are common. Okay? So get prepared to handle all of them. So I'm going to be sharing with you the strategies to use and how to approach these question types. Of course, let me emphasize this again, that applying these techniques, practicing them, the steps I'm going to be showing you today will involve you practicing these techniques and applying them. It's very, very important. You need to practice yourself. Don't just say that because you have watched a lesson on matching questions, you have heard my explanation, and then you now conclude that, yes, I've understood it, I've mastered it. Well, you may have understood it, but you have not mastered it. You don't master something until you have practiced that thing over and over and over. That's how to become a master. This our training is called master class. You become a master by practicing something over and over and over. Okay? So keep in mind that you must practice.